We're talking about Ubisoft again. So, okay, Chandler,
We're
Chandler,
so
dude, what?
disappointed.
Six game cancellations, including Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. We're talking about a 95% stock drop in the last 5 years.
Yep.
Two studio closes, Stockholm and Canada. Like, what's
Yep.
going on right now? Like, honestly, I will say, I'm not gonna. I say what's going on just because I'm like, why are we still talking about this? But also, can we expect anything less from Ubisoft? I wish I had a soundboard so I could just say, like right now, because
Dude,
that's what I expect from them, bro. Come on.
dude, I honestly want to any time like either Microsoft or honestly just Ubisoft. Anytime like something just goes wrong in their world, I just want to put play that Curb Your Enthusiasm like tune and stuff. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
have yet to watch that show.
Dude, it's great. It's fantastic. I understand why people meme it and stuff. I understand now. Great show, but yeah, Ubisoft, man, like, dude. They might be worse than EA. They really must be worse than EA right now because, yeah, like you said, I mean, like, 6 games got canceled. One of them being the Prince of Persia game, which was done. It was in a playable state. Granted, there was some, like, things they probably wanted to fix and stuff with, like, patches
Yeah.
and whatnot, but
Yeah.
it was in a playable state, but they pretty much did the WB way where, whenever Batgirl was almost done, they never released it, so they kind of did a little Batgirl right
Well,
there.
it seems that
with the-
it seems that Ubisoft is in a state of just disarray right now. I mean, last year they did a restructuring as well. This year they're doing another restructuring, claiming that they're going to focus on Vantage Studios, Creative Houses 2 through 5, etc. And that causes that a strike in France. That's the short
Yeah.
way. Like they're at least calling for an international strike internally at the House in France, and so that. I feel like it only makes sense. It's like the thing is about Ubisoft that they've onboarded. I heard that they've onboarded the number something like 120,000 employees
Yep.
in the last 5 years, and apparently they were still at that time, still to this day, developing games that were NFT based on the blockchain, etc. So Ubisoft has always been in this kind of state of disarray, at least I would say potentially even for the last 10 years, with their major franchises, Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, keeping them afloat, getting them all the money they need, Valhalla, Shadows, whatever, anything that they can squeeze out of those games is keeping them afloat. But they brought on this kind of crazy amount of people, and their games keep continuously flopping. And so last year they restructured. We're going to focus more on remakes because they saw successes in games like Super Mario Galaxy or other remakes that were made that were super popular amongst fans. And so boom, Black Flag remake from Assassin's Creed franchise. Boom, we're going to do Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, which everyone loves. It's a beloved franchise. Canceled. And here we are looking at Ubisoft again with the spotlight going, you guys don't know what's going on, and the employees, the people who probably love working there because of the years that they've made incredible things. Because Ubisoft has some good things in the stock, bro. Like they have some good games in the past, and there are probably been people there for years who are just like, enough is enough. You know what I mean?
dude.
Actually, it's not. I'm not even the one saying that. They're literally saying that.
Yeah, seriously. And like here's a point I want to make. What
Yeah.
happened to Rayman? What happened to Rayman?
Classic.
That was classic. Yeah, and it's like that's their Mario. Like they don't ever mention him. They don't even care about him at all, and they pretty much just like think of him as like a secondary IP. It was like, no, that was the game that put you guys on the map.
Well, here's the thing.
Like,
Here's the thing: is they were focused on remakes, and they've canceled 6 games. One of those being that Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. A lot of people are expecting the next 5 to include potentially the Black Flag Assassin's Creed remake, which obviously a lot of people are excited for, especially me. I'm a huge fan of that series. And the other ones have some speculation as well, but that's one of the biggest ones. But one of those might be the Rayman. If their whole restructuring last year that they announced was going to be about remakes because of the success of remakes in the industry, then of course Rayman was only natural. Rayman was an incredible game. It put them on. What other games would you speculate they might have?
Splinter Cell, and they actually
That
canceled
pisses me
that game
off.
tape. Yeah,
pisses
that
me
actually grinds my gears. That and the Prince of Persia one, because I love Sands of Time, man. Like, honestly, if we're talking about like Ubisoft franchises, I
Yeah.
would say Rayman, Prince of Persia, Splinter Cell. That's it, and a little bit of Ghost Recon. But that's pretty much my my four horsemen of the Ubisoft.
A Splinter Cell
club.
Blacklist is one of the best games that
Yes.
that has never been talked about enough, and I wish they would have just came out. I love playing that franchise. It's one of the best stealth franchises still to this day. But it's sad, man. So back to the story though. So amongst all this, the two studio closings in Stockholm and in Canada, and the continuous layoffs, at that being a primary focus of Ubisoft is to pretty much diminish their employees and try to build from the ground up, which as a company probably makes sense. Like, let's take everything away, let's cut our costs, and let's just like focus on a 10, 15-year plan where we build up from the ground. And that's probably what they're doing. But you got to understand, while doing things like that, there are talented artists, talented people, business people, artists of every kind who are working at these places who are feeling the effects of that. And so it just based off, I wouldn't be dismayed and believing that just based off, even if they're laying stuff off, Ubisoft just, their actions show that they have bad management. And so even if they're laying people off and like trying to restructure, they're probably going, let's lay a bunch of people off. We're going to restructure slightly and then just give everyone who's still here an insane amount of work that's unbearable. Because a company that onboards up to 120,000 employees or something like that, it already has giant aspirations, probably beyond what they can create. Ubisoft used to be a great company, but it's probably beyond what they can create. And so it's just not ideal. And so if you guys didn't know, some of the unions out in Paris were just like straight up just like, we're calling for a international strike, actually. They feel like there's no dialogue, no respect. Management dismisses their creativity. They feel like there's a future of just that's destined for closure. These are some of the things that they posted themselves here, and they explicitly said, we are promised autonomy for creative houses, but what about autonomy for employees? 5 days of mandatory in-office work. We are treated like children who need to be supervised while our management gets away with lies and breaking the law. So it's pretty big claims. And they also said all that in addition to saying that they still love the company. They said verbatim, our colleagues carry on, hold fast, endure out of solitary. I can't read today. So solid.
No,
What is it? Solid.
Solitude. Or
Sodom. Solitary. How do you say that?
Solida. How do you spell it? How do you spell it?
Solidarity.
SOLID.
I'm terrible.
No, you're good. You're good.
But solitary, I think, out of love for the industry and out of passion, but enough is enough. It is because we love Ubisoft that the situation revolts us. And so, they're like, we're enough is enough. And truthfully, I don't think this is going to do much to dismay Ubisoft.
No.
I think they're just going to fire people and then cut their losses. And I know, Chandler, you said at the beginning, like, they might go out of business, but I don't even know. They're so big that, like, this decision from a business perspective might be the best move for them.
Yeah. Well, I was actually thinking about this today too, but this could be, honest to God, David, this could be like a hard reset on their entire company, and we just don't see it yet because it's the beginning of like this hard reset and stuff.
That's
it's
what
like
it is.
the start of like their like redemption arc. But who knows? But it's I wanted to point out, but like like the higher ups in like their management is like not respecting like the creativity of their staff. That's the reason why like the creators of Clair Obscura left. That's the reason why, because
they were former
respect.
Xbox. Or sorry, not Xbox, former Ubisoft, right?
Ubisoft, yeah, they were former Ubisoft. And like they even pitched like these like game ideas to management, but management was like, no, we're gonna make the next Assassin's Creed game or the next Tom Clancy game. So they never wanted to break out of that mold at all, which just kind of kills you as a creator because you have this incredible idea for a game that you want to make, and you're working at this studio that's like, Granted, now, like, not so much, but, like, back then, it was a prestigious company to work for because they made game after game and they sold very well and stuff. But now, most of their games don't really sell well because they're all the same. It's like Call of Duty for Assassin's Creed or, like, you know, the same kind of trend that killed Guitar Hero, dude, over at Activision, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's that same kind of, like, repetition and, like, mediocrity that they always want to promote with their games and stuff, and they don't sell that much.
I feel like Ubisoft is getting into permanent stain territory.
Yes.
Because the thing is like, yeah, you're right. Like, I forgot about that. They wanted to pitch Clair Obscur and other games to the management, and the management is like, yeah, we're all about creativity, but then they're like, yo, let's just make all these IPs that we know are successful. But yet they make those IPs and they're not successful still because the stain is getting too strong. Ubisoft, it's very apparent that Ubisoft cannot find a proper balance between creative IP and greed. It's so apparent. It's so frustrating to see over and over again, especially from someone who has always been an avid. I will say that, like, recently not so much, but in the past I was a huge fan of Ubisoft, primarily because of Assassin's Creed. And somewhere in the mix you had, Prince of Persia, which brought me to the Assassin's Creed franchise, and then somewhere in the mix you had Splinter Cell that we mentioned, and also, I'll throw a mix here, but like also in the mix, I'm a big fan of the motorcycle games that they make a lot. I love Trials Fusion. That was one of my favorites, and I actually got those games, like, probably I got like up to 100 hours in each of those, and so I was obsessed with those, especially the mobile ones. And so I like Ubisoft games. Recently though, not as much, and so the stain is just getting so bad that, like, I remember I had a moment where I was playing Valhalla back in like 2020 or something like that when it came out, 2021.
Yeah,
and I'd played through every Assassin's Creed game ever. I played them all, and got on a Valhalla. I kept playing, and at some point I was like, I realized I was playing just because it was an Assassin's Creed game, but not because I was enjoying it. Because there was a moment where I was in Valhalla, and I was like, this isn't Assassin's Creed. This isn't an Assassin's Creed game. Like, this is. I was like, I'm not enjoying it. It's making me. I'm not assassinating niggas. Like, I'm not. Like, I want to kill people with my hidden blade. Here we are. And I'm in Valhalla right now, bro. If I want to go to Valhalla, I go play God of War. I go play some other game that's based around Norse mythology. Like, I don't want to play it's Assassin's game. And I even picked up Shadows. I picked up. It's so crazy. I picked up Shadows. I picked it like a year ago, and I haven't even gotten like probably 6 hours total. I even picked up. I did actually finish the one in India. And see, I can't even remember the names anymore. And I'm a big fan of the series. It was horrible. It was like the game felt like it was developed on the PlayStation 3. I was like, "Are you serious? This is horrible." Anyways,
and like, what's even like
I digress,
the story
bro.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I know you're a big Assassin's Creed fan, like I am with Final Fantasy. But like, what is the story of Assassin's Creed? Because it feels like they had this narrative with like the first I think I'm assuming like the first like 4 to 5 games. And then it kind of just like goes off into its like own thing.
I think so the narrative very early on was very intriguing because it had so much mystery. You had this blend between faithful ideas, religious theology, and like science fiction. And so the idea was that when the sons of man came upon the earth and were sleeping with the women of the earth that they found attractive, they had created this kind of hybrid being. And that was what the assassins were ancestors of. That gave them special abilities and to be able to control these divine, super ancient devices called the Pieces of Eden. And so there was a group called the Assassins Guild, and then the Assassin's Creed, and then you had the Templars, which are like kind of like a super secret society that was obsessed with getting ultimate power and control. And so the Assassins kind of goal was to keep the Templars from attaining these pieces of Eden. That way they couldn't get control, and then they would withhold those pieces of Eden or hide them forever, so no one could actually. They believed that was too much power for any person to have, and so that was the assassin's whole goal. And so oftentimes it was very mysterious because you find yourself like it was altered history. It was like,
Right.
you find yourself in, ancient Rome, like talking to super, super, super famous political people who actually had an ulterior motive with someone who was a created character who was trying to control the world. And so it was really cool. And it always had this, futuristic aesthetic where you play as Desmond, who is the modern day assassin, and you're always in his memories visiting his ancestors. And so the idea was that eventually the game would catch up to modern day. And the game became so popular and Ubisoft greed continued to grow that they were like, you know what? We're going to like kill off Desmond. We're going to like, the spoilers, we're going to kill off Desmond. We're going to do this. And we're going to like throw this in there. There's other ancestors. We're going to, add the woman protagonist because that's popular right now. And then we're going to do like, we're going to just go to different areas. And it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense anymore. Like it's all convoluted and like the canon aspects of Assassin's Creed are very lost in the translation at this point. The hope as a big Assassin's Creed fan who I actually have look, check it out.
I want to check this out, bro.
I have the best assassin ever to exist, Ezio Auditore del Firenze, right here. I'm a big fan. I also have tons of Assassin's Creed stuff back there, actually, on my shelf. I'm a big fan, and so for me to like stop playing a game is huge. Like I'm not that big of a fan. The reason I was a fan was because of the story. That idea was so amazing to me, and so this isn't an Assassin's Creed episode, but I just want to for me that was my perspective of Ubisoft was like, oh, you once made really creative games that were committed to storytelling and had an eventual coming that everyone was looking forward to, and then you completely abandoned it. I have let go of the idea that I'm going to get my beautiful Assassin's Creed ending that I've always wanted, unfortunately.
Oh,
damn
man.
it. Damn it.
Damn it. Damn it. Damn, David. That's sad, bro. That's sad, dude.
But that's not sadder than the freaking layoffs and the strikes.
Yeah.
A game is one thing. People's livelihoods, artists are another thing. Me and Chandler, we come on here and we talk about it, but those people are making the video games. They care about it a lot. And so that is very sad to see,
It is, man. It is. But yeah, I was just curious about the Assassin's Creed because it was just like, it feels like there's no longer a story anymore. It feels like it's just, let's make an Assassin's Creed game in Egypt or in Japan, or
that's kind of what it is now.
Yeah, it's just like, why? But yeah, no, it always pisses me off to like to hear about like news stories about people like getting laid off of companies that they worked at for like 20 years and stuff, and like they don't get really a severance package if they do get laid off, because that's never really guaranteed. Now there are laws in place that dictate like if a person works here for X amount of years or like stuff like that, but companies, man, like sometimes like they'll double cross their own like employees that have been loyal to like their like whole like mission statement for like X amount of years. So but yeah, no, it's too common in the video game industry to the point where like most like game developers like consider themselves freelancers, but yet they get hired on a salary with like a 401k and like health insurance, but then they get excuse my language, and then they get whoops then they get terminated right then and there and stuff, and it's just like, that's not cool. That's really, really not cool.
The thing is like, unfortunately, like they're gonna get away with this. This is the common story we hear within the gaming industry. It's like these giant companies, EA, Ubisoft, like they're going to have these very like very hierarchy level decisions, managerial things that ruins everyone at the bottom. All the people truly making the games. I remember when we had the giant CD Projekt Red thing where they were just like, let's put the game out early, and like that game was Cyberpunk 2077 is like fantastic now, and it was probably going to be fantastic if they would have listened to the developers who were saying we need more time, but they were so infatuated with their bottom line. A lot of games, to be truthful, like a lot of studios need to be more like Rockstar. They need to shut up, be quiet, like work behind closed doors, and delay when they need to. Now Ubisoft has a ridiculous amount of money, so like I'm speaking from an ignorant position of like who maybe Ubisoft doesn't have that, but the truth is, it's like what's all the money in the world when you try to put your game out early and it sucks, and then you don't end up doing what you need to do to get back the investment. because it's not like unknown to people that games cost a lot of money. They're hard to make, and it's just like generally a long process. And so, like, if you're going to do that, like, the industry is different than the movie industry. The movie industry is way less expensive. It's still expensive, but way less expensive than video games because you can put them out more rapidly. Video games have to take time, especially in the blockbuster arena. And so the fact that Ubisoft is just like just not understanding like how important it is for games to be completed, for how important it is for games to not be greedy. It's like they're just a company destined to fail, and we see it all the time. And unfortunately, they're going to get away with it. They're going to really. I don't wish them good luck. I wish the employees good luck. I wish that more employees have the ability to step away, make their clair obscure. You know what I mean? Build their own studios. Gaming, you know what it's looking like, Chandler? Gaming is going to move into a direct to consumer situation, because now I can hop on and make a game and I can upload it to Steam, right? And so yes, games will be less blockbuster. There will be games that will come out that will be very blockbuster. Those will be the biggest ones in the world. They're going to be fantastic to play. But I expect to see more games like Will o' the Wisp, or more games like what's that game that you like a lot that you've been Trek to Yomi? Is that what it is?
Trek to Yomi. It's that like samurai black and white game. Yeah,
more games that are like, they're not blockbuster. They're more like the A24 of gaming, more indie. That's the best way to put it. More indie games that are easily double A games that take that might take a group of like 10 to 15, maybe even like up to 100 people to make, but like not 3 or 4, 5, 6,000 people to make. But we get them when the people want to put them out. They put them direct to the consumer, and they got their own little studio. Honestly, that's the world of gaming I really want to see. Yes, that does counteract my need to play God of War. Yes, that does counteract my need to play GTA. Those games are still going to come out, and people are going to make those, and I'll wait 15 years for those. But let these people come out with their games, and it's hard to make a studio, but I'm just saying that's what I want to see. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you 100%. And plus, I've always kind of honestly, during this decade alone, like, I'm kind of leaning towards more of the indie developers nowadays than like AAA developers, because we're seeing a lot of like bad habits with all these AAA studios where they're using microtransactions. There's sameness. There's like letting go of people. There's just horrible business practice that is really just hurting this whole industry as a whole. And I hope, like, honestly, with Ubisoft and like, you know, maybe having a hard reset, and we're seeing it at like the beginning stages, maybe the whole industry could have like something like that, where it's just a hard reset. We need to reevaluate what we've been doing for the past decade or so, and pretty much go for there. But who knows, man? But honestly, something that probably would help Ubisoft is if like another company like Tencent or NetEase or some other company just comes in and buys most of their stocks, most of their shares and stuff, and get, you know, rid of that one family that's been over like at Ubisoft for like, you know, the inception of it and stuff. They need to have like some like new management at some point. They need to have something to where like they can have a new direction and figure out like ways to make their studio better, and not, you know, the same that they've been for the past like 5 or 10 years by now. So we'll see, man. But
you know, I would love to see a world where I just say this again because I just love, like, I see what you're saying. To be honest, at this point, Ubisoft might be kind of, like you said, destined for destruction in terms of like they're probably going to last for another 20 something years, but then eventually they're going to, like, unless this restructuring like fully, like, they really can just like bring it back home. That, I mean, I would be happy to see that. So unfortunately, it has to be at the expense of a lot of people's livelihoods. But I really think that with this happening and the stuff at EA and like the crunch culture that's been in everyone's ear for the last who knows how long, and the gaming industry is still wild success. It's like the most successful entertainment industry in the world. Like that, seeing all those things, I would say that movies have been around longer than video games.
Yes. And
we've seen that happen with the film industry. We've seen people move into a more indie world. And so I would love to see more indie titles come from smaller teams that are extremely creative. You know, I love the studio that makes Inside or Little Nightmares or those are great games, dude. And I know not everyone loves like the side platformer, side scrolling situation, but like even Trek to Yomi or like what are some like other like third person Hades,
dude, I love Hades from
Sianu's Sacrifice, like
yeah. What is that? It's a card game. It's Indescriptible or
Balatro.
Something like that, right? Balatro, but that's that's funny, dude. Corey loves that game, man. But yeah. Oh, dude. He
I saw him playing on his phone one time. Yes.
Yeah, he was even playing on your set, man. Like
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So he loves Balatro, but Balatro and I'm on my PlayStation right now. I'm gonna look this up live on air, guys. Live on air.
Let's do it.
What is it called? Oh my god, did I delete it?
Even the
Dave the Diver.
Dave the Diver, A Plague Tale. Those games, Plague Tale is damn near AAA, like almost. I mean, obviously it's not, but like these are games that are made with time and the developers over at who makes It Takes Two,
Journey,
Split Fiction, Journey. Like these are all great developers who look. I don't know the sizes of the studio, so maybe I'm being ignorant in this, but like even a step down from that, like the proof is in the pudding with Clair Obscur, right? Yeah. That's what nails it home for me. But anyways, Ubisoft, you got to do better. They're not going to listen to us. They're not going to listen to us. I really hope that something comes of it, but it's tragic, man. Guys, we appreciate you guys watching. We're doing more short kind of things like this more often, where we can talk about things as more topical discussion rather than like at the end of the week, so we can jump on things quicker. So we hope you guys enjoy this format. If you want to see our longer form episodes, we record every week for the Split Screen Gamers podcast, where we talk about funner topics. We're moving kind of our daily news over to these short things, and then on the podcast we'll have fun segments where we can talk about games and the creative stuff, what we're playing, etc. We're also going to hop on and start playing more games together. So next on the list will be Where Winds Meet. That's what it is, Chandler?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Which we're going to be trying, or on my end at least, we're going to be trying GeoForce Now.
Straight up.
That'd be interesting. By the way, I found the game because I just looked into my libraries. It's called Inscription. Inscription is a great indie. Yes. Dude, that's a great indie game.
That's a card game, right?
Yeah.
No, I saw it on, it gets recommended to me on my games all the time. Yes,
you need to play it. It is. Yes, it is.
Is it like horror?
Yes, it is horror based, and it's creepy. It's really creepy, and honestly, hell, dude, I might do like a top 15's indie games list and send it over to you, bro. Like,
please.
At this point, because there's so many great indie titles and stuff.
Matter of fact, but I know Chandler, do a top 15 indie games, and then we'll post it on the channel's community dashboard so that people here can play them.
Yeah,
we need to support more indie titles so people have the go-to to go do their own indie thing. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, I agree 100%. But dude,
all right, man.
Great episode.
Good. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Until next time, peace.